Good morning, it's March 15th. This is To My Liberal Friends. Well, happy days are here again. Happy days are here again. And that's the constant refrain from Joe Biden, his spokespeople, and his supporters in the media. Over and over, they talk about how inflation is coming down, gas prices are lower, they've actually increased in the last 2 weeks, the stock market is up, and employment is strong. We also saw inflation tick up again, too. All of this is true, but it's not resonating with the American public, and there's a key reason. Some of you may remember when George H.W. Bush could not tell you what a gallon of milk cost. It was a major mistake on his part. And it's somewhat excusable since he's been the vice president for 8 years and president for 4 years and had probably not been in a grocery store in all those years. But his opponent, Bill Clinton, hammered on him for being out of touch. It is in the grocery store that all Americans see the impact of inflation, and whether they realize it was the massive spending bills that Biden pushed in his first 2 years when he had a Democratic House and Senate, they still blame Biden for the prices they're seeing. Here are some basic items that people buy on a regular basis and comparing what they cost when Biden took office, what they cost today. Baby wipes for those that have young babies. $4.25 when he took office, now $6.64. Bleach cost $2.78 in 2020, now is $4.87. Cooking oil went from $5.22 to $8.04. Milk, a basic staple in life, $2.70 a gallon, now $3.26. Deodorant was $4.68, it's now $7.43. Dog food went from $5.42 to $8.48. Eggs from $2.35 to $3.87. Nutrition bars, $3.12, they now cost $5.67. Paper towels from $5.76 to $8.22. Potatoes from $2 to $2.62 a pound, and ramen noodles, something all college students live on, from 62 cents to $1.08. And these are prices that the reason the average American is turning their back on Biden and his economic agenda. It's the reason his approval ratings are in the tank and have stayed there. During the pandemic, they were told that this would be temporary and that prices would return to normal once the supply chain was fixed. But they've not gone down, and it's frustrated both men and women who have to shop to feed their families. What do these people want? More than anything else is a bit of deflation that would see prices come down. One woman started listening in on company earnings calls. You can actually do this if you want to and get the link to try and figure out why she continues to pay so much more for staples like milk, which, as I said, is up 20% between February 2020 and February 24. That's according to Biden's Labor Department. And pet food. She said it's unfair and not sustainable, and nobody will explain it. And this is from Mary Kay Owen, a 65-year-old substitute teacher in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Some people are worse off financially than they were a few years ago, like workers whose wage increases haven't kept up with inflation. Others are gloomy about the economy, though some have benefited from raises, higher rates on savings accounts, and increases to the value of their homes. I think we've all read about the Five Guys bill for a hamburger, fries, and a drink costing over $20. A small fries cost $5.21 at Five Guys now. And it does not stop there. At Chipotle, a classic chicken bowl with chips and a drink is also coming in at $20 price. And these are all points that Joe Biden has not grasped. Inflation has caused prices to increase by close to 20% since he took office. It never registered on him or his minions that spending trillions of dollars that we don't have would basically increase the money supply, and the result is the dollar is worth less, and that meant inflationary prices. Now, before we go any further, Donald Trump also spent money, so don't come on and say, well, blame Trump. I blame Trump for what his spending was, but you then got to blame Biden. And these are all facts that all of us are aware of. But what caused this round of inflation? The answer is simple. Too much money was printed and injected into the economy for both Biden and Trump. And that means the dollar is worth less, and that means prices rise. And how does Joe Biden's administration propose to fix it? Well, he's got 5 initiatives that will all mean higher taxes and more spending, and the result will be more inflation. These programs that he rolled out in this budget include new tax incentives, bigger tax credits, giving more taxpayer money to renters, giving more taxpayer money to home buyers, and giving more tax money to everybody seeking to increase the housing supply. In other words, he will use your tax dollars to try and buy votes. He won't bring down the cost of things you buy. And a meal at Five Guys that now costs about $20 will soon cost you about $25. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.